Totally. I totally get it. And I must appreciate, I think I really heard that passion about making customers successful,
Hmm.
uh, delivering results for them, and kind of diving deep and to create a path for them to realize those business benefits. Thanks a lot for kind of calling all the three principles out. Uh, I I think one thing I would want slightly more clarity on is when you started with a vision of how you would want your solution to help your customers. Uh, you kind of got a few customers on the onward journey, and the technology was also evolving. So,
Hmm.
are you closer to your vision that you had in the beginning, or has it evolved? And if so, what's the direction?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that because I think it's gone both ways. It's evolved in a way that I didn't quite expect, but it is closer to my vision, being that my vision was to deliver, the highest value to my clients, right? I think just to at a high level, when I started this journey, I knew, aside from all the benefits and differentiators I started before, I knew that the system had to be friendly to operations, right? Because I had worked for companies that, you need to be agile. You need to be able to produce solutions quickly for your customers. And if you want to automate a solution and you have to open a ticket and work, and start an IT project just to automate a process, that really slows down innovation. And more importantly, your customer feels that, right? Because the agility is simply not there. That's not a knock on any IT teams. I mean, the IT teams that I worked with at my two employers, they were tremendous. But when you involve, and you do need to involve IT, especially when it comes to the AI world here, it can't be a free for all. You need to evaluate solutions, make sure they're secure, and all of that. But when it comes to actually implementing an idea like an automation process, I wanted to make sure that the operations could handle that themselves, and that's where the customized templates come into play. And that was actually one of the original concepts, one of the original features of the system was, hey, the operator decides what their output is going to be based on a specific customer, based on a specific process. Taking that a step further, when I first started this system, it was a very simple chat based type system, right? And I was just kind of feeling my way out, and I got some feedback from colleagues in the industry saying, "Hey, this has some real potential. It's going to save us time." So I went down that road for a few months, and then I had a development team working on it, and I thought, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get a second opinion, right? So go out and find another group of experts that could look at the solution, critique it, give me another perspective. And at that same time, I was starting to get some feedback from prospective clients when I was sharing demos and things like that. They weren't absolutely in love with the system. They didn't love the variability of it. They didn't love and I didn't love the unpredictability of it. When you're engaging with a chatbot, it didn't serve my ultimate vision and what I was trying to deliver to my clients. So that's actually how I was connected with Harjit. And I gave Harjit a demo, and I told him about what I was trying to do. And I'll never forget this, Harjit. You said very directly, you said, "What you're showing me is not what you want. It's not going to work." And then you said, "I'm sorry if that was too direct." And I was like, "No, it was perfect. It's what needed to be said. It's what needed to be done." So within a few weeks, you and your team came up with a mock-up of what FreightFit would become, and that's where we are. That's where we are today. So it evolved from a chatbot to a more intuitive, user-focused experience, and most importantly, it's a secure system, and it offers that consistency, because I could never sell this in good conscience to my clients, uh, if it wasn't consistent, and if it wasn't secure, right? So I have Harjit and the team and the Creative Bits team to thank for that. You have a wonderful, talented team, and that really helped me help the product evolve and get to where we are today.
Appreciate that, and taking us down the memory lane. I remember the day when we were first discussing about it. Yeah, and because I really saw the potential, your passion towards the product, and the time, about a few months ago, they and there still is, to some extent, to a large extent, that confusion around what can AI do for you, right? And
Mhm.
that's a challenge, a customer challenge that we face day in and day out, to enable that part of their vision, and evolve it into that final product. Though I have to be honest with you, many a times the vision that customers have, they are not able to relate it with the AI implementation part of it. What we found in our discussion is that you got that, like from the very first meeting, you were able to take that feedback in, and we are where we are right now. It's a great SaaS product, and I'll pass on your kind words to the team. Thank you for that.
Please do. Yes.
Uh, yeah, and we just talked about this customer challenge, right? And I was talking about this. You were talking about evolution, and just continuing on that topic, right? Um, the 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 when many a times in the community or professional community, they deal with this evolution now and then, and this we are at the juncture where AI is causing a revolution, and which is leading to lots of evolution, right?
Mhm.
Um, in your experience, Dylan, what I would love to know is that customer challenge, and I'm changing the gears a bit. The customer challenge that you face when you talk with the freight industry, because it's
Mhm.
not the kind of industry which is fast moving, it's conservative. They are traditionally, it's a traditional industry, and traditionally they've been happy with what's happening, and they don't
Mhm.
want to fix it if it isn't broken. And
Mhm.
the but does that present um, any difficult conversations for you?
Mhm.
Like, how does it actually look like when you're trying to bring AI into this conservative industry? How do they take it? How do the real conversations flow in your case? I would love to know that.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question, and I think you really hit on something at the beginning there, and that a lot of people don't know where to start. They hear all this noise about AI. They're experts, they're professionals in freight. They know they deliver a good product. So that combination of where the heck do I start? Combined with, hey, what we're doing right now, it's working just fine.
Mhm.
That creates that initial resistance, right? So that, personally, is the barrier that I have to get through, especially when I'm engaging with a new client. After we get past that first step, then I'm able to get some more information, and just ask simple questions like, hey, what are your manual processes today? Where are your bottlenecks? What takes the most time out of your operation? And then I can show them what my system can do. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, yeah, for this specific process, or I have an assembly shipment process where I get 150 packing lists in per day. And right now, my warehouse operator is typing everything into the system. If I can scan all this and push it into the system right away, that's a huge win. So that's what we're finding. Just starting with something small to reduce that initial resistance, and then the top leadership, they're on board immediately after that, because of course they see the potential and the realized financial benefits. The other half to that, and what I've seen, and this is not necessarily a surprise, because it's such a proud industry, is you get the top leadership, they're on board, And then when it comes time to implement it with the operation, and I've had the pleasure, and this is actually one of my favorite parts of the job, is going to sit with these operations teams, because that's always what I love doing, being in the industry and learning about their process and helping them implement my system, right, to make things easier for them. But some of the common, resistance that we get, it's like, I was sitting with a guy the other day, and I ran, I threw some documents into the system, and it kicked out the result, and I saw the look on his face, and he said, this is a lot of my job. This is what I do. This just did my job for me. And he was afraid, so I totally understand. But then that's where the conversation comes in. It's like, well, this is a tool to help you, right? And now you can work on all these other things. Because I said, well, I'm sure you have things that you absolutely need to do, but you don't have time to get to. And he said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, well, there you go, right? Now you're making yourself more effective. You're becoming more valuable to your employer, just because. Well, not just because, but one of the reasons is this system that's here to help you. So working through that resistance at the desk level, first hey, I'm afraid for my job. And then the other part of and I touched on this a little bit earlier, is the transparency and the trust, right? Because in an old school industry like this, you run into a lot of people who have been doing the same thing for 20 years, and they're good at it, right? And they're reading these documents and they're typing everything in, and it works for them. And they say, well, how can I trust, your AI software? Everything I read about AI, you can't trust it. How do I trust that? And how is it better than me? Which is a valid question. If you don't know, what the system has to offer, and the quality management processes that go in behind it to make it consistent, that's a very, very fair question. So that's where I kind of show them the confidence scores that are available, building that trust by showing. Another thing the system does, and this, Harjit, is it shows the source document, right? It'll say, hey, this is the field that's identified, and this was the source document where it came from, basically. So that really goes a long way. And then to give the operators a tool to check it themselves and to modify it if they think it's necessary. They're still realizing that benefit, but gaining trust in the system as they go. So I had that twofold. Those would be the two major resistance points.
And they kind of sound the same from any other industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But and again, I was just thinking in my head, while I told you in the beginning that I'll not wear my sales hat, but it's hard to keep the act up. So I was
It's been
thinking
40 minutes, so you need to bring it back. Yes.
So I think I can imagine a customer situation with your passion and the knowledge that you have in the freight industry and the tool that you built. I can very well imagine a top leader saying, yes, we want these results that you can bring in. And you would definitely be able to convince the user who will be able to reduce their effort, their work, or do it faster or do it more. That's the positive side. The not so good side is the fear of redundancy. Will this tool make me redundant? I do not know. Maybe not today, maybe not this quarter, but maybe sometime in the future. And then starts the slow process of finding faults in the tool, trying to find an excuse not to use it, and kind of taper down the usage so that it dies a natural death. I'm not saying it happens, but I've seen a few scenarios where there is a quiet resistance from the users, and the usage tapers off. Is that something that you've experienced? Or if this happens, what's your advice to make the usage stick so that the leadership can accrue the benefits that they are aiming for?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I have seen this in a few cases for sure, and one case in particular with one of my clients. They've been with me from the beginning, and just tremendous people, and a really solid operation, and one of the teams that I've had a chance to sit with. A lot of that resistance, a lot of those excuses saying, oh, well, I'd use it if the system had this, or I'd use it if the system had that. I've capitalized on that and said, hey, these are really good ideas, right? That, regardless of your motivation for telling me this, your ideas are excellent, because it's going to help me make my FreightFit platform better, right? So I can go back, with the help of Harjit's team. We implement these changes, we implement these enhancements, and then I can go back to them and say, hey, I got what you wanted. Let's give this a try, right? But nonetheless, that's the positive side of it. But you're absolutely right, Sumit, that there are situations, there are times where they want it to. I'm just saying in general now, right? Not the client I was talking about, but in general, people want it to drop off in the usage. They just want it to go away, right? So to combat that, my involvement is relatively limited there, right? Because it's really more of an operational leadership initiative, right? If the client believes in it, if they want to use it, then that's what they'll push down to the team. And the most effective implementations and operations that I've seen in this way, you get that, and no surprise, you get that commitment from the very top, and then it trickles down, right? And the critical point is the manager, supervisor, operator level, because that's most of the time that's where it breaks down. But if you push the product, not in a way of hey, use this or else, it's push the product as in, hey, this is good for you, always with the implication of this isn't going away, right? So you may not like it, but it's in your best interest to learn about the system, to learn about AI in general, because that's just going to make you more valuable, right? And those are the most successful organizations, those that push it down from the top, down to the director, manager, supervisor, and then down to the ops level. They just keep pushing it until they realize the benefits. Change
No,
management,
that's
basic, yeah.
totally.
Okay.
And Sumit, if I'll just piggyback on the question that you just mentioned, right? So there are with your experience, right? So by the way, like just as a part of our job, a day job, running Creative Bits AI, we meet with many leaders, many business leaders, and we do feel that many a times the these discussions when they crop up, um, and people like us come in, and in your case, you are educating your customers,
Mhm.
and in fact, the customers team on how the benefit of the system will percolate to make them more efficient instead
Mhm.
of causing the insecurity, right?
Yes.
Um, what we're wondering is um, if there are any lessons that you feel based on all the conversations you've had that the leadership in the organizations should take up with their teams so it doesn't get to the point where external parties like ourselves are doing the convincing job with
Mhm.
their team, right? So, what steps can leaders take within an organization to make them feel safe, make the teams feel safe, so the resistance goes, or it's a smoother path for implementation of AI or whatever technology will come up in the
Mhm.
future.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think, in at the most base level, you see a stark contrast and organizations that trust their leadership, that have built a strong culture of two-way communication and transparency, and those that really haven't. And on a practical level, when you're talking about implementing a solution like mine, the companies with that strong culture, of course, they always win, because what they're going to do is they're going to roll it out in a way and introduce it in a way that makes sense, right? They're going to make sure that the team is informed. They've probably by this point already required some type of AI training, generic AI training as far as safety, data privacy, things like that. So they're not, completely unaware. And then they're going to show them. They're going to start small. They're going to take early adopters, ambitious people. Say you have a team of 20, maybe 2 of those people are excited about it, right? And maybe 2 of those people happen to be influencers within the team. They maybe not hold a specific leadership title, but they have they have influence amongst the group. So they choose those people who are ambitious about it, who want to use the system, and then they use that as a proof of concept. So then it's not just the leadership saying, hey, FreightFit really works, you should use it. Then it's amongst the team saying, hey, this really helped me out. You should probably look into it as well. Those are the most successful implementations that I've seen. And on the other hand, the ones that fail are the ones who send out an email saying, hey, we're going to use the system now, go for it. And people don't know a lot of times the capability of the system. They don't have those questions answered about their job security, right? Because those things need to be addressed right away. You need to be very transparent and say, hey, I'm implementing this, we are implementing this system. It's going to make you more efficient. But you don't have to worry about your job. You just worry about making this work. You worry about making yourself more available for the clients. And this is our strategy. This is just part of it. You are still our most important asset, which is the absolute truth, especially in freight forwarding. People are the most important assets. So those are the most successful versus those that are unsuccessful, I'd say.
Excellent tips. And we are going to use a few of those bullet points in our next conversation. Yeah. And it's been a great conversation, honestly, Dylon. I learned a lot, and I'm sure Sumit is going to agree, and also our viewers. To close it out, I just wanted to flip the script on its head and ask you, what we have been covering right now is how freight industry can implement AI and stuff like that, the challenges on that side. Let's talk about what is the AI industry missing that they should or ignoring from the freight industry perspective. Like, what can the AI industry do better to get freight industry more actively involved in contributing towards it or using it?
Yeah, no. I think the number one thing you need is people who come from the freight industry to introduce it, right? Because it's a very conservative industry, as we've talked about. They're not going to trust easily. And if we want to increase the conversation around AI, it's going to take those people from the freight side, senior leadership, to anywhere in the organization to start engaging, to start, participating in webinars like this, or just simply watching them or reading up on AI and the potentials of what it can do in freight. Because when you have there's a lot of solutions out there that they're AI solutions, but they don't speak the freight language. They don't come from the industry. So they're saying, hey, we want to help you with this. We're going to, you can save, how much money, whatever. But when it comes time to actually implement it, they fall short. And that resistance happens because they don't speak the same language. So it's a matter of getting more people on the freight side engaged and excited, and kind of building that bridge and doing things like we are doing today. And that's going to increase the adoption for sure.
Interesting. Yes. So make more partnerships in the industry. Have the experts lead the way in
Mhm.
defining the requirements, and you, as AI consultant, become better and better by learning and understanding, translating those requirements, and bridging the gap. Amazing, amazing. With this, Dylan, I just wanted to once again thank you for your time. This is exactly the kind of conversation that Global AI Impact Network GAIN exists for. Real experience from the foot on the ground, people who are delivering real solutions, no fluff. And we thoroughly appreciate you coming here. And for everyone who's listening in, the if you want to connect with Dylan, he is available on LinkedIn. But Dylan, if you have other ways of connection, please feel free to chime in. But I'm sure you'll get lots of interested people in talking to you.
Yeah, no, I love those conversations, and if you want to reach me outside of LinkedIn, please visit the homepage. That's FreightFit.ai. That'll give you additional information as to the product, and it'll also give you the link to the platform itself. So, thank you, Harja. Thank you, Summit. It's been a pleasure speaking to you guys, and I look forward to continuing this partnership.
Perfect.
Great talking to you, Dylan.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Thanks a lot, and we'll continue to talk to you. Thank you, Dylan, and have a great
Take
day.
care. You too.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Great day. Bye for
Bye.
now.